Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is the big man Boisterous coming to you with part 3 of our Diamond League destruction game between the red Protoss VPtit and the blue Protoss Zennith. As this engagement goes amazingly in the Protoss's favor, I feel like I'm watching one of those YouTube videos. You know, the 200 Ultralisks versus 200 Archons. What would happen? I feel like I'm watching one of those videos, honestly, because you just see both players as mass Archon versus mass Ultralisk, really. I'm not going to hate on either of them. They're both great strategies. I mean, why wouldn't you want to go mass Archon versus mass Ultralisk? It makes perfect sense. But this is honestly an extremely scary Protoss deathball at this point, with an army comp of 9 High Templars, 8 Archons, 4 Void Rays, and 5 Stalkers. Just the High Templar and the Archons and the Zealots, which he has 17 of, will clean up basically anything he wants to clean up. I'm surprised he's not going for more Zealot like drop play, because he could drop Zealots and deny this hatchery. He could send up Zealots and deny this hatchery and this hatchery. Really, he could send Zealots almost anywhere and deny anything he wants. And we do actually have him building a base on the carcass of our Zerg player's base. It's not even done rotting yet. You know, there's still a little tiny patch of creep there that he hasn't even sent the probe over to discover doesn't exist anymore. And he's cannoning up. He will be cannoning up, and we do have the Zergling run by. Fairly nice Zergling run by, actually. I mean, it's defended phenomenally, but not a bad idea. I just don't think it's going to get him that much farther in this game, as we do have the Protoss player with a massive death ball, the very upgraded massive death ball. I'm surprised he's not going for any shield upgrades, but I can understand. I mean, he only has 6,000, 1,000. He needs to be saving that money up. Basically, just go for shield upgrades if you're at this point, and the bulk of your army is Archons, because Archons with shield upgrades get extremely frightening. They're so much more cost effective. He's at 8 Archons. He should get their shield upgrades. That's what I'm going to say about it. Because his Archons are actually almost dying to these Ultralisks. Because the Ultralisks do have all of their upgrades, including the one that boosts them up to +5 armor. I'm surprised he's not going for his +3 melee attack though yet, because he really needs it. I mean, his entire army is essentially exclusively melee units, between all these Ultralisks and the Lings, and I think that Ultralisk versus Archon goes very favorably in the Archon's side, especially if you don't have the amount of Broodlords I think you really need to pull that off. And we do have the Storms going down, fairly effective Storms. I don't think he actually stormed any of his own units there. And really, just so many units have already gone into this vortex, and the Zerg cannot lose any more units to it. And all those Ultralisks are finally flooding out, but he lost a lot of effectiveness actually into those vortexes, because he could have cleaned up that battle a lot faster if he hadn't lost 6 Ultras to it. We do have the Void Rays continuing to harass these Broodlords, and I don't think to kill him. Really? It's an 11 kill Broodlord and a 13 health point Broodlord and a 50 health point Broodlord, and he just failed. I guess he did kind of have to deal with this issue just a bit, but you know, you don't need every Void Ray to deal with this as fast as possible. You barely used every Void Ray to deal with this as fast as possible. As these Zealots do come in, and do these Zealots actually not have leg speed? They don't. Oh, he needs Zealot charge. At this point in the game, as a Protoss player going for this massive Archon Zealot formation, you should probably have Zealot Charge. Zealot Charge makes Zealots astronomically better, really, because it just increases the amount of time that they're able to DPS by making them go right up into the fray. And, you know, I think they also just move faster across the map, because it makes them comparable to the speed of Stalkers, which, although he doesn't have a whole lot of Stalkers in his army, fast units can never, ever hurt. Yeah, this game is actually stabilizing quite a bit. Not a whole lot interesting left going on. The Warp Gate is unpowered up here, and these two Immortals are Zergling bait at this point. He's trying to stop this Forge from finishing off its upgrade, and is he going to get? He gets the pylon. So stopping that shields upgrade is actually pretty good for him, even if it's only for the 25 seconds that a pylon requires to build. It's still quite nice, just to stall that for as long as possible. And as this game continues on, the Zerg just appears to be falling so much farther behind. It's just, he's not like losing any substantial lead, but at this point I think he's you know, it's a 2 base versus 3 base situation. Actually, it's a 3 base versus 3 base situation, which at this late point in the game, you never want to be in a Zerg. Never ever want to be in like a 3 mining base versus a 3 mining base position, because once you get to that point, it's just you're so far behind, because the Protoss army is a lot beefier than your army is. And you know, this isn't really even a mining base, it just got completely cleaned up. There's no drones here. He's not, it doesn't even look like he's noticing that this is happening. He's not microing this Broodlord's well anymore. Both of those Broodlords go down at the top, and neither of those really had to die. We do have the Dark Templar coming up here so that these Stalkers can blink up, and he's going to clean this up quite easily because there's only Spore Crawlers up here. And it doesn't matter how well you can see the Dark Templar's face roll in your drones. You know, Dark Templars don't die from the sunlight of you being able to see them. Like, you don't just stare at a Dark Templar and it dies. You need actual units there to back up your detectors in order to kill them off. And this Zerg is just falling so far behind. He doesn't have the money to transfer any of these into Broodlords. So he just has a giant flock of essentially useless units sitting here. And honestly, it looks like the Protoss player is just trying to add insult to injury by going for these carriers, because you know the earlier section where I was talking about how carriers can be good? I was lying. Carriers are not good in this game. They really are not. They have one of the highest DPSs in the game, but the issue is that they sacrifice that DPS with being squishy as hell. So even if these corruptors only get like a couple pot shots off on him, he's still gonna kill, you know, both of those carriers quite easily and do damage to the rest. And it looks like this is just gonna go right to the Zerg player. I don't see any way, or right to the Protoss player, excuse me. I don't see any real way for the Zerg player to warm this up, and the Zerg player just lost to somebody who never got Zealot leg speed. So again, get Zealot leg speed. It's pretty good. I mean, it's obviously not going to, you know, be the thing between you winning and losing a game. However, I think that in some of the earlier engagements, if these oh god, Zennith is throwing down the gauntlet. God, Toss is absurdly OP. I know, right? Ugh. I'm kidding, Zennith. You need to go for something else. Honestly, I think Roach Hydra would have worked quite well for him in that situation, because even with Storm, Roach Hydra is still quite a good unit choice, and if you can just get those Infestors to, you know, block down those Zealots so that they can't get up into your face, the Storms just aren't going to be able to do enough damage to kill your entire army if you can micro just a little bit. Anyway, guys, this has been yet another game brought to you by Boisterous. I hope that this one was a bit longer than the last one I brought to you guys. You can check out any other games I have done over at youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. Also, if you want any of your games commentated, send them on in to boisteroussc2@gmail.com. And if you have any ideas for any sort of, you know, subscriber milestone events, you know, at 200 subscribers, I think I'm going to be doing live mono battles. So go out and get all of your friends to subscribe, and I'll invite you all to games and do live mono battles and run these kind of like just fun weekly events with subscribers, and they're probably all gonna just be lively commentated by me on Justin TV. I'll probably do, you know, some just live matches and advice to certain players. You know, I'll just do a lot more hopefully community-based stuff as my following gets bigger. So go out there and help it expand, and you guys will definitely get some rewards out of it. Anyway, guys, this is Boisterous signing out.